Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. It is 9:35 a.m. here in Southern Ontario, and it is the 4th of February. Thank you for joining me this morning, and we'll be talking about racism. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody's had a good weekend. Here we are finally at the weekend. And yes, it has been a really, really cold week here across Southern Ontario, Canada. And today is no exception how cold it is out there, with a minus 13 and a wind chill of feeling like minus 20. But it is hopefully the last few days that it is going to be this cold. And hopefully the forecast plays out the way it's supposed to be for the next 14 days, being up on the plus side. But we just have to get through this weekend because it is damn cold out. And it's better to be in the house right now with maybe a cup of hot cocoa or a hot tea or coffee or anything else like that. But yeah, it's damn cold out this morning here across Southern Ontario, Canada. So, but it is winter. We are in the middle of the winter. The other day was Groundhog Day. I'm sure people are familiar with that. If the groundhog doesn't see his shadow, then it's an early spring. So we had a couple of predictions of that on February the 2nd. The most famous little rodent is Wiarton Willie, and he predicted an early spring. So I guess we just have to wait and see what happens. Mother Nature will take its course. That's for sure. So hope everybody had a good week. Yeah, so, gosh, man, was it, I don't think it was last week. It might have been the week before. I was out here and I did like 4 shows in a row. I think it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Not this week past, but the week before. And that was going to be something that, I was going to continue to do. But things are so unpredictable, in my field of work anyways, driving a transport truck. you know, um, it man, it's so disappointing in a way, because this is something that, I took upon myself to do um, 3 years ago. January just passed, marked 3 years of the Truckers Podcast, FYI, with over 400 shows. And that was just basically doing things on the weekend, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings. And I used to have Mondays off, so I did a Monday morning show and that. But trying to get the shows out there and being consistent and be able to do them in the evenings when I get home from work. And here's a perfect example. Last night, So yesterday when I worked, I start work at 6:30 in the morning. I didn't walk into my home until 8:30 last night. That was a long day. And then to be able to set things up, get the show going, because, once you get home and you get cleaned up and you put in a long day like that, fatigue starts to set in, right? And it's like anything. It's like anything else, performing. You got stuff to do, right? And then it's like, okay, well, you know what? Now it's 9 o'clock. Now it's 9:30 p.m. And now I'm getting tired. And concentrate and be able to concentrate. Like I say, with fatigue, then it just, it would just be really no point of doing a show after a long day like that. So then I was trying to figure out, well, what's how can I get 4 shows in a week? Well, I can do a show this morning, this evening, Sunday morning, and Sunday evening. Right? And I hate to set up a show throughout the week and keep my fingers crossed that I'm going to be home at a reasonable time, that, cognitive, that I'm going to be able to function to do a show. And then, there was, I think this week just passed, I had put up a couple shows. I looked at my schedule. I thought, okay, this is probably going to work. And in hindsight, it should have. And it didn't. And then reschedule or just delete that upcoming show, So, and then I'm thinking, well, it's not fair to my listeners, and my followers, because, if you get a notification, hey, the Truckers Podcast FYI is going to be starting at such and such a time, such and such a day, and then it doesn't, and maybe, of course you listen to other podcasts out there, obviously. And, you like plenty of them, and you like my show, and then you say, oh, what the hell? The Truckers Podcast FYI is supposed to start at 8 p.m. such and such a day, and it didn't. And then I it's just, I don't think that is fair, because I look at it this way. The listeners out there, if it wasn't for you, there would be no podcast. Period. Right? So we have to put the listeners first. Right? The host is just the host.
You're right. You're the host right now. You're absolutely.
Yeah.
Podcasters come first. If you can't read, you can't write. You can't write, you can't type. And if you can't type, you can't find these great, wonderful shows. So, let's go, people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, and then, like, if I, and then
I'm a guy that's been around. So,
yeah. And I just feel bad when I put up a show, like I said, I look at my schedule and say, yeah, this is doable. I'll set the show for 8:30 p.m. And then lo and behold,
somebody else.
My field. Well, no, my field of work, the day may start out really good, but not end well. As for doing deliveries and pickups and possibly even weather, or it could be traffic, could be, bad accident on the highway that's going to delay me.
I'm in the same situation as you, my friend. I'm a delivery driver.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have to basically rely on, is the weather going to be good? Is the traffic going to be good? We can't predict accidents. We can't predict any of that, right? Because if we could, well, then, geez, man, it would just make our lives a whole lot easier. But anyways, yeah, it's like I was saying, like I tried, like it was not last week. I think it was the week before. I did manage to get 4 shows in. So I did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do, because I'm just generally a weekend podcaster. But I thought to myself, I want to do more of this. I want to get more stuff out there. I want to talk about more things, in important issues, and I mean, my show is not about the trucking industry. Yeah, I'm a trucker, but, I just called my show the Truckers Podcast, but it is about all the social issues that we are facing today, and I think it's really important to get things out there and talk about it. Because if we don't discuss issues, social issues and things like that, well, then how do we solve anything?
You are absolutely right.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that, when, talking about racism and the different forms of racism, because it just isn't just one directed at one culture or one skin color or whatever the case may be, right? It is so diversified that, because we have, we could talk about cultural racism, reverse racism, biological racism, stereotypical racism.
That's a hard subject to conquer. It's a very hard one.
It is a very hard one to talk about, but having an open discussion, whether you're talking with your friends or your family or your co-workers or whoever it might be, that it's something that needs to, I feel personally that it should be talked about more often. It's like mental health, mental illness.
Yeah.
To be
addiction, mental illness,
addiction. Yeah, like of that. Course. Yeah, homelessness. Poverty. All these and the issues that we're facing today with high inflation. How expensive it is for groceries nowadays. How expensive it is for rent, or even a mortgage.
Well, I mean, my mortgage is that's neither here nor there. But I mean, a gallon of milk versus a gallon of gas, it's crap these days.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Oh. You drive to work, you're gonna get some milk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, just all the issues that we face. You're
gonna feed your cat. You're gonna feed your kid. What? I mean, eggs these days, absolutely insane prices. Used to be the cheapest thing in the world.
Yeah. Well, it should
be. 5 dozen eggs. Well, it should have been, but then you got all these, whatever the case may be. We're killing it. Yeah. I could talk for days and days and days, man.
Yeah.
But I'm boogie nights, not boogie days.
So. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's just I'm the type of, I guess, we're always trying to figure things out throughout our lives, and trying to understand, things about, things about, I guess just because everybody is is different. We're not made the same. Like we are the same, but we're different, right? So, like even when it comes to, so this is like this. I was listening. I was watching this video on YouTube one day, and so it, and it
Preach.
just it just threw me back, and I thought I can't even believe this person said what he said in this video. So now when we look at so what is it oh god, I just had the word in my head too. I hate when that happens.
It's a horrible situation to be in.
It's coming. I think it's coming with age, you know, and I have it in the back of my head as I'm talking to bring it up, and that so white supremacists, right? So now the thing here is in this video that I was watching on YouTube. So it was a black reporter talking to this individual, and so they're having this conversation. It was a good conversation and stuff
What
like
race
that.
was the other individual?
White.
Okay.
So
Black reporter talking to a white individual.
but he is a white supremacist, and this was part of her. I don't know. She wanted to do this.
Gotcha.
So it got to the questions, and she said to him, she said, "So when you look at me,
Who's she?
what?" Or yes, so to her, and she says, "What do you see?" And I would never even imagine. I mean, I should have imagined. I should have, thought, okay, this is not going to end well. He says, well, and he used the N word, literally. And I just sank back into my chair, and I just couldn't even I thought, okay, you know what, white supremacists. I mean, what to expect out of that, right? And then she turned around. She said, well, I find that really offensive and really hurtful.
You didn't say who said what, though.
Well, they were just, well, she asked him. So
who's him?
The guy who proclaims he's a white supremacist.
Okay.
Right. So she asked him the question, when you looking at me.
Who's she?
She's a reporter. Right? She's a black woman and she's a reporter. And she asked him, when you look at me, what do you see? What do you see me as? Right? And he used the N word. Literally. So she turned around and said, I find that hurtful. And he said, he goes, I don't care how you feel. And I thought, Jesus Christ.
Language.
Yeah, and then he said, and then she goes, are you racist? And he goes, no, I'm not racist. And then I'm thinking, well, if you're a white supremacist, doesn't that go hand in hand being racist?
Was he self-proclaimed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was this man?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm thinking that he's in the United States. It could have been anywhere, but I'm assuming that's where the interview was taking place. But and then I'm thinking, well, how does that work? Because people who are white supremacists thinking that the white race is the superior race, the hierarchy of all races, and thinking like that. And I'm thinking, what a crock of shit that is, right? So I'm no better than anybody else, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not above anybody else just because of your skin color or your religion or whatever the case may be. You know, and it just pushed me back into my chair, and I'm thinking, wow. I mean, first of all, I'm thinking to myself,
What are
why
you
are we
even talking about, man?
talking about racism,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So, you
What's
know,
your
because
creed, my friend?
what's my what?
Your creed, your color,
I'm a Caucasian.
you're Caucasian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Continue.
Yeah. So when we think when we think about racism, what comes to your mind? I'm
What have
asking
you
you that.
just put? Oh, me? What have you
Yeah.
just tried to put in people's mind? Hate,
Hmm.
racism, and hate.
Yeah.
That's
You
all
can
there is
sum it
to it.
up all in one word because it is.
Yeah.
It is. Right. So, you know, we might even, stereotype racism.
Well, I could stereotype you. You could stereotype me. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, uh, it seems to be like one of the biggest out there, racism based on skin color.
it's what you were getting at. You threw
Yeah.
around the words. Not
Yeah.
I.
Yeah. So, and then, of course, we talk about, for an example, um, institutional racism, where,
Institutional racism.
yeah, where,
Yeah,
yeah, where
very
it
true.
occurs in
What you're
countries where there
taught
are
to believe.
yeah, where there are laws or organizations that promote discrimination against certain groups,
Hmm.
right? So, which so
You're
basically gives the privileges to certain ethnic groups, to be detrimental of others, right? And of course, the environmental
give
racism.
me a no. Go back to the other one and go ahead and give me an example. A few
Of
where
which one is that one?
what you just said.
Institutional racism.
Yeah.
All right, so it's organizations that promote discrimination against certain groups, and it's the most difficult form of racial. It's it's a difficult form of racial discrimination to combat.
You're tripping over your words, kiddo. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I am. So what it does, it gives privileges to certain ethnic groups, um, to the detriment of others. So
Tell me what they are.
basically, yeah. So basically, so it could be in discrimination,
How's it
for
hurting
high.
you?
How is it hurting me?
Yeah.
So when it comes to, um, for hiring practices or in the workplace and stuff like that, um, I feel that if someone of color or other cultures
Color?
and things like that,
That's racist.
color, right, looking for a
Culture and
job,
yeah. Culture and
right,
color. Okay, go
right.
ahead.
So yeah, so looking for a job, and you have all the qualifications as anybody else, but then you're not hired. That's another form, and they don't have to say why, right? At all. They can just say someone has more qualifications, and you can believe that may not be true. Even when it comes to education, right, is another. Educational racism refers to both to in the situation in which certain ethnic
No,
groups
they
are
don't.
deprived of the right to
No, they're
receive
not.
equal education.
No, they're not. Equal employment and equal education is all across the board throughout the United States. So, I mean,
Well, can you give me
uh, uh,
an example of educational racism?
there's no such thing.
Well, there is.
No, there's not. Give me an example. Go ahead.
Racial discrimination that occurs in the classroom and which is related to bullying.
Oh,
And
bullying.
unfortunately, it's still very much in force, and it's important to educate people regardless of their and authenticity. So it still goes on, and it is a form of bullying because you know what you may be Islamic,
Why aren't these
you
people
might be
calling the
Chinese,
police?
you might be. Pardon me.
Why aren't these individuals contacting the authorities?
Well,
What you're
well
trying to
they
do, man,
well
is
they
spread
do.
hate.
What they do is they do that. They obviously, inform the parents and they call the authorities if necessary too when it comes to bullying, right? So I'm just, what I'm talking about is just the different forms of racism,
Oh,
right?
okay. Continue.
Yeah,
I'm
and
glad
then you
you're
also,
informing me.
so and then of course, hidden racism.
Hidden.
Yeah, well,
That's
it's
a new one. It's not.
it's yeah, it's closely related to the previous one.
Could you tell me
It
your education level?
I have 1 year. I have my grade 12 and 1 year of college.
Oh, congratulations.
And what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, a lot. But continue.
So
Could you tell me your age?
I'm 59.
You're 59.
Mhm.
So you're 59 years old. So the things you're speaking about are 40 years old.
How are they 40 years old? Or
Well, you're
older than
59
that?
years old. You're right.
Yeah.
Throwing some facts out there.
Hmm.
Where are you getting your facts from?
Where am I getting my facts?
Yeah, just a question.
Well, because all these things that I just mentioned to you, like that, it has been around for a very long time.
Oh,
And maybe people's never heard of, you know, people when they think about racism, maybe they're not thinking about institutional racism, environmental racism.
oh, okay. I apologize. I was just trying to dig in a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just, people just,
I'm not for or against what you're saying. I'm with you.
yeah, no, I'm just saying that, people don't
I
look
just
at
want
it and
correct
out of the full.
information to get out there. So,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Right? So, for another, where is it here? The environmental, right? Environmental racism, in a situation where certain minorities are, by the desire of the dominant ethnic groups, forced to live under disproportionate exposures to pollutants and toxic waste. Right. So let's for another example, the indigenous people of Canada, and they want to put gas lines and oil lines and everything through their land. You know,
who's
and
they?
because they so
Who is they?
who is they?
Yeah. they want to put gas lines. Who is that?
Well, let's say the government,
What government?
the Canadian government. It could be the
Okay.
American government or whatever, right? And of course the institutions, for gas and oil, you know, and why would they just
We don't
choose?
know. That's why you're here.
Yeah, so why would they choose to go through, you know, that part of the land, you know, when they could find other places to do it,
Well,
right?
isn't the oil at the one spot?
Um, Not necessarily. That's why they pipe it,
Oh, right. Well,
right,
don't you think
from one
they've
area to
had
another.
like a giant teams of engineers and things like that?
Well, look what happened in Flint, Michigan,
Oh,
with the
I know all
water,
about Flint,
right? Look
Michigan.
what happened there. That's an environmental racism,
No, they
right?
could
That was
always
just
move.
detrimental. I mean, that was just freaking horrific. What
Still is.
happened
I have
there.
a good friend
Yeah,
of mine came from
yeah.
Flint, Michigan. He got shot in
Okay.
the neck once. It's not a very nice place.
No, no.
It's not environmental racism. It's
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, it affected everybody. That's for damn sure. But still, I mean, it's still environmental.
bad water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you take it from the clean water, then you switch the taps from into the river. Because of corporation. That's really what it all came down to, right? Is that corporation that, nope, we need all this fresh water, and they don't need that, and you just switch the taps.
So anyway, go back to what you were talking about, Canada, and all that noise.
Right. So take a look at the residential school system. Started back in the mid 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first prime minister of Canada,
What's his name?
um, Sir A. Macdonald.
There we go. What was the second one?
I don't know. I'm referring to the first one because what it comes down to with the residential schools, what took place, and the ironic thing is that the last one closed in 1995. So what happened was they forcefully removed children from their families, their indigenous families, and back in that era they called them Indians.
Indigenous. It's
And yeah,
indigenous.
yeah, indigenous. And so back then they called them Indian savages. And his thinking, I don't know, was of course it all comes down with colonialism, and to take these children, forcibly remove them from their homes, move them hundreds of miles away so they can't make their way back to their families, strip them from their heritage, their cultural and their language, and through um,
What year was this?
well, it began in the mid 1800s is when
Oh,
it began, right? And the last residential school closed in 1995,
oh.
right? So for the physical abuse, um, sexual abuse, they're finding all kinds of unmarked uh, grave sites where these residential schools once stood. And so you can only just imagine, just on one area of this one residential school, they found 215 graves, and so there's another form of racism, you know, of back then, of the mid 1800s, of the Canadian government. And today, that racism still plays out against, you know, these people. So it's, so I mean, education, talking about it, I think is really important. And I had to educate myself on residential schools because we never, here in Canada, we never learned about residential schools. We didn't even know it existed. And the area, and then the era of course, the internet highway. Now that didn't start until like the 90s,
It will.
right? So I mean, before that, I mean, there was no such thing as the internet. There was no computers, laptops, cell phones,
Yeah, there
none
were.
of that stuff. Not when I was growing up. There wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have any of that stuff when I was growing up.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, that was, I was around in the 80s.
Well, yeah, I mean, it probably started coming out in about that time, but long before that, I mean, growing up in the '60s and stuff like that, we didn't have any of that stuff. I mean, the outside was the playground.
Yep.
Right? We weren't, you know, playing on video games and stuff like that as kids and people are doing today. So, but yeah, I just feel that it's just necessary to,
Remember when you were a kid? Do you
yeah, I
remember
remember,
that?
yeah, I
How
remember a lot
awesome
of
it
things.
was?
It was fantastic. Not a care in the world, and nothing to
Yeah.
worry about. But
No
now,
hate to give. No hate to
no,
give at all.
no,
Yeah.
we never,
Stuff.
even, yeah, so I mean, of course, I had plenty of friends and stuff like that, and you know, um, kids who are black and whether they're Asian or whatever, stuff like that. We all hung out and played together in the schoolyard, after school, everything, right? So it was just growing up for me and stuff like that. Not for everybody. It wasn't an innocent time, for a lot of people. Even in the United States, in the 50s and 60s. For people who were black and for the civil, for the Silver March, Martin Luther King and Martin Luther King Jr. and everything. What they worked so hard,
Hmm.
you know. So, and I still think America, and even Canada too. We still have a long ways to go. We sit back and we look around, we watch the news and see what's going on, you know, and Black Life Matters, and all these different things, or groups coming out and stuff like that, and saying enough is enough. So
I always kind of wondered about Black Lives Matter and things like that. Don't all lives matter? I get
well,
punished
that's
on
yeah,
for that. And
yeah.
who put the thing in the stone? Who made the mausoleum or the whatever the case may be? Why can't we all just get along?
I don't know. I wish I had the answer to that.
What is the I just man, so anger. There's so much anger in you. I don't know what it is.
not me.
Yeah. No, there's
You
anger
know,
in you. You've got some hatred going on, and I'm not trying to stoke your fire.
no, I mean, okay, let's say, okay, yeah, I'm angry at those out there who are just blatantly ignorant
Yeah.
about other cultures and ethnics and everything else like that. That how can you even be that way, right? Discriminatory and everything else, against different people. It's just unbelievable. I'm angry at that. Absolutely, I am.
There you go. Stoke that fire.
Right.
So
So I think I'm the type of person that, you know, we can get along, and I get along with everybody. I really do. I greet people when I see them walking down the street. I don't cross the street because of your race or anything like that. No, I walk right up to you and ask you how you're doing.
don't you think that's a little rude?
Why would that be rude?
I mean,
Say how you doing.
I'm
How's your day going? I say hi to everybody. In my job, I see so many different people every single day. You know, and I'm just kind of a person that I like to approach you and say hello and stuff like that, and tell you and say have a good day when I'm leaving. That sort of stuff, right?
yeah, but is it your job?
Is it my job? No, it's not my job to do that,
Okay. All right.
right? But I do it, right?
So why?
Well, I just maybe it's my upbringing, I guess. So being taught to just to, respect.
You ever thought maybe people don't want to be approached?
Well, it doesn't matter if they want to be approached, or I mean, I have nothing to do with anything because I think people we're human. We're that species that have to have that connection, right?
Maybe you need to have that connection. Maybe I don't. I mean, I don't every day want somebody when I'm walking down the street to say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Well, I guess it's just I don't know way people do things differently or stuff like that. I mean, if someone would make eye contact with you, and stuff like that,
Somebody makes eye contact with me, that doesn't mean I want to have a conversation with them. It's isn't
No,
that
but no,
just good
but
enough
isn't this
acknowledgement
well?
to that
Sure, we
I
both
understand you're a human being and move along with your day?
no, but people. I mean, we just do because we're social creatures, right? If I were walking in the mall and stuff like that, I mean, I say hi to everybody. People say hello, say hi back.
You think that's normal activity
Sure, to me it
at
is.
59 years of age? You're gonna walk
Yeah,
around and bug everybody you ever see.
it's not bugging. It's just I kind of feel that this.
How do you know it's not bugging?
If I've already made walking towards you, I already made. I feel if I were like for people, if you're Islam or whatever, Chinese, you're black or whatever the case may be, you make eye contact with somebody,
What
but all of a sudden you just
what does
move
race
your
have
eyes the
anything
other
to do with it?
direction because you don't want to even recognize them. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna cross the street,
No, I've never
right?
done that in my
It's just
life.
like it's just like with somebody, with a mental illness or an addiction or something like that, and you're walking down the street and they're there and they're schizophrenia and they're acting out. Are you going to cross the street? Probably,
No, walk
right?
right past.
That's
It's
right,
not my business.
right? Or you notice, or how about the homeless?
How about the
You're gonna cross
homeless?
it.
What about them?
I mean, you're
Have
not
you
gonna
ever
make
been
it.
homeless? Have you ever been
No,
schizophrenic? Have you ever been
no,
another race, creed, or anything other than what you are?
no.
Who are you to decide you're allowed to interact and speak and say hello or whatever the case may be? You don't
Because
know
that's what we do.
who's we.
People, that's humans. That's what we do.
Oh, is it?
Well, at least I do. I don't know. I
You
mean,
do.
am I the only one in the population of 8 billion people that do that? Highly
No.
unlikely.
Yeah. You might be the only one of 8 billion people that likes to annoy others.
And I don't call it annoying.
How do you know what kind of day somebody's having? And for you to walk up to them
Well,
and say,
if I go, hey, how you doing? You say, well, I'm having a shitty day. Well, then I got my answer, didn't I?
there you go.
Right? They say, I'm having a shitty day. I go, how you doing today? I'm having a shitty day. And you know what? People say that to me because I go in there and it could be the shipper and receiver.
You going where?
When I deliver to companies. And I go in
Huh?
in the individual there either is the shipper or the receiver, and I go in and I go in there. I go, hey, how you doing today? And they can turn around and they can tell me, to f off or do whatever the hell you're gonna do, or they can turn around and say, yeah, I'm having a really shitty day.
Right.
I say, well, sorry to hear that.
Why?
And and I have
It
a
was none
shitty
of your
day too.
business to hear that.
Right? Right? I mean, I don't ask them if they're having a shitty day. They put that out there themselves. Right? And they have. And I thought, okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets better. Because not
Why?
every single day is a perfect day for everybody, right? I have shitty days.
Yeah.
But if people ask me, say, how's your day? I say it's fine. Because I don't have to really elaborate to tell you
What
kind
is
of a day
fine?
I'm having.
What is fine,
Right?
though? What is fine?
Well, fine could just that mean it's just going by. It's just there,
Yeah. Fine.
right? Or I could say I'm
Define.
or I could have a great day. I'm having a great day, or I'm having a fantastic day, which is higher than the great day.
Yeah, but
Right?
what is fine?
Nothing's gone wrong. Fine that you're just getting through the day potentially.
Yeah.
It's just fine.
Fine. Fine. Frustrated, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Well, I guess you could put it in that term too.
So,
Right? So, I mean,
I'm having and in fact, what kind of day are you having right now?
I'm gonna just kind of a day I'm having right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, like just trying to just figure out, from the stressful, from my stresses in my life, I guess my day is just going okay.
Okay. Sounds great. I'm fine too.
Okay. It's a good conversation we're having. This is good. You're a good guy. This is good conversation.
You're a good guy.
Thank
I like it.
Yeah.
I got a cat over here trying to look out a window he can't get to looking out of. Oh, come here, cat. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm just looking out my window here, and
what's the temperature like? Where you at?
well, I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and it's 14 below with a wind chill factor of about -22.
Nice. That's a wonderful day, right?
That's a wonderful day. It's
being
cold.
all bundled up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cold when. But you know what? Typically, I mean, geez, this winter, January was above average in temperatures. We had very little snow. We got that one big snowstorm, like the United States here in Canada. What was that, on the 22nd of December? And then, and then
we were. I felt like you. I'm down here in Indiana, and
okay.
in
Yeah, you would have gotten it then too, right?
Yeah, December 22nd, right around that time, Christmas time, we were negative 45 wind chills. I was outside working at it, and I was fine.
Yeah. I
So,
love how you put that fine in there at the end. That was great.
so
So
I mean,
yeah, it's but after this weekend here, it's supposed to uh, going in the right direction after this weekend, so that's good. But
well, you're
being in the
gonna
middle of
get,
winter, it is what it is.
yeah, it's the way it goes.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's the way it goes.
I didn't mean to drill you at all. I was
No,
just
no, it's okay. I like this
curious about your
conversation. It's a good
conversation.
conversation. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's, um, people to call in and stuff like that, and to talk to somebody, and I don't, a lot, people just maybe just like to come on podcasts and just listen,
Yeah,
which is great. I mean, but some podcasts there, they got got all their guest call-ins all lit up and stuff like that, and that's great too that they do that. So, but I want to get out here, um, more so than I have been. And like I was saying earlier, during the week, yeah, I could plan for a show, but I don't. The day, the days are so unpredictable. That yeah, it worked out that one week that I could get in 4 shows from Tuesday to the Friday, and everything just goes south the next time. So
well, it's all up to you, my friend. It's
yeah, absolutely. How I got to figure it out. So I said earlier that I could do 2 shows today. I could do this morning show. I could do an evening show, and same with Sunday in the morning and the evening. That'd be 4 shows in one week,
mhm.
right? So, and this way, I'm not dragging when I get in the house. I'm not dragging my backside. Like last night, I didn't get in the door till 8:30. And it's like, well, I didn't supposed to show up for that because that wasn't going to happen.
I know that feeling. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know when I'm gonna get home,
Well, I know.
or if
It's
I'm
like,
gonna get home. Nobody
well,
knows.
that's right. We walk out that door.
Ah, stupid cat.
There you go.
Ah, always tripping
Yeah.
over the dumb son of a gun.
Well,
Open up.
they're just could be anywhere. Just all of
Well,
a sudden they're under your feet.
she's brand new. She's
Oh,
she's been here a week,
okay.
and she's just always on my ankles. Son of a gun.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. Little dang jerk. Yeah. Now you're all happy, huh? Sorry about that.
No problem.
She's got a cone around her neck. She's a rescue from
Okay.
the place I work. Just running around
Yeah.
trying to die, and I figured, well, I don't think you oughta. And so here she is. Now she won't leave me alone. Dang old cat.
Yeah. So
She ain't too happy about it either. Little jerk. Anyway, she's a good cat. I think. Maybe. Who knows? She's alive. I'm
who
alive.
knows?
You're alive. We're all alive.
Yeah. Yep.
Peace, love, and harmony. Anyway.
Yep. Yep. That's what we want, right? Everybody just get along, for crying out loud. You know. I don't know. I have no idea. Could never figure it out. But anyways, I'm going to end the show here and get on with my day, and everybody else can get on with their day and the weekend and get things done that we need to do, and people to visit and stuff like that. So, because throughout the week, that's hectic too. To be able to get together with friends and family, and of course do our own personal shopping and take care of our own personnel. So everybody go out there and enjoy the rest of the weekend and your upcoming week. And yes, I will be back out here tonight, and I'm going to come back out here around 9:30 p.m. So if you guys want to join me then, that'd be great. If you can, I understand. Until then, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully get back together again and have another discussion.
Absolutely.
And thank you. Yeah, and thank you for calling in and having this conversation. It was a great conversation, and I appreciate that, and I'm sure you do too. And yeah, anytime. So, all right, everybody, take care, and we'll chat again. This is the Truckers Podcast. FYI, I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. Take care, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.